So we get students that apply to a program from various backgrounds. We are an interdisciplinary program. And most of the students who apply to our program and who are part of our program currently are interested in conducting research as it relates to urban issues, urban and environmental kind of issues as well. So urban and environmental tend to be our big pillars in terms of umbrellas, in terms of research interests for our students. And many of our students either come with a background in urban planning, maybe having done a master's or a master's in public policy. Those are two students. So we often have students who also have a professional background coming in, but that's not requirement. Some of our students are coming from undergrad. They've done research in the past on these issues, and in general, they're interested in urban and environmental issues, and they want to continue to, develop skills to pursue research in these areas. So the classes, I'll go into a little bit more in terms of the classes that we take. We do kind of pride ourselves in being a program that is very much interdisciplinary. You will see that our faculty members range in terms of their own individual discipline background, right? So for example, I'm a sociologist. I study urban issues. I think about neighborhoods, study immigrant communities, and ask important questions about how neighborhoods matter and how they shape people's lives, right? But many of my colleagues are urban planners. We have also political scientists. We have geographers. And really, our students have the opportunity to learn from faculty from all these different disciplines, but who are asking questions about urban issues and environmental issues generally, right? And so you can, take some time and take a look at our faculty and see the kind of research that they're conducting. And that gives you a sense in terms of the folks who can potentially guide you with your research, right? And so fit is really important. When we think about how we select our cohort, we want to make sure that we actually have the faculty that can support you in the kind of research that you're interested in pursuing. So fit is really, really important. Our students, many of them are pursuing academic careers, going into academia to be professors. And we can most certainly kind of help you develop that and obtain the skills. And most recently, we actually developed a professional development pro seminar that we're really happy about, that is now core to the program. So that means that as part of your training, you will sit in a seminar with your PhD peers and learn about publications and going on conferences and basically all the professional development things that it takes to get to be able to be successful and competitive by the time you graduate. We do know that obviously it's very competitive to get a job in the academy these days. And so because of that, we want to make sure that we provide the students the kind of support that they need in order to succeed. And that doesn't only mean the skills, the research skills, but also the professional development side. That said, not all of our students are interested in going into become a professor. We are also very open and also encourage our students who want to go and do research in think tanks for government in the private sector. And so one of the things that I did for this pro-sem that I just mentioned is that also bring in some of our alumni who are in these different areas, right? And so sometimes our students are not aware or unfamiliar with those processes. And in fact, I was learning a whole lot about how our students have navigated that, because these are, for professors who we know the sort of the job market in the academy, that's one thing, but going out and trying to find a job outside of academia, right, in the research world, that's a whole other bit. And so one of the things that we're thinking a whole lot is how to make sure that our students also get exposed to that, either through alumni or through other resources on campus. So in general, though, our students are, because they have a strong policy and planning bent to them, right, in terms of how they ask questions, you know, a lot of the research is not just examining and understanding problems, but also trying to think about solutions, right? Trying to think about ways in which their research can inform the policy process or planning. So our ideal candidates, just to kind of on these last points, are those students who are who come to the department who sort of align with the orientation of a lot of our faculty, not only in terms of their research, but a lot of our faculty are interested in questions of social justice and equity and are thinking about policy and planning. And so those are the students that kind of tend to gravitate to our program. And those are the students that I think we can best support as well. So I think that's that last point. Of course, we're looking for academic excellence, right? A track record and evidence that you have are thinking seriously about not only your academics and have performed well elsewhere, of course, but also that you're thinking seriously about these tough research questions, right? That are of important issues of our times, right? Whether it's climate change or urban inequality, housing issues. We have a number of students who are interested in these things. A lot of concern about water issues. We have a nice group of folks who are interested in these kinds of questions. And just more general questions about collaboration with communities. How do we kind of fold them into the planning process, into research, into having them inform research, right? And the research process. So in general, that's kind of, you know, a sense of what we do. And I could talk a whole lot more and give you more specifics, but that's I think a good introduction to the department. Oh, okay. Now I jump into this next, right, Iris? Okay. And so there you have it. What you guys are taking a look at are some of our core classes. You will see, you know, our department, because it's interdisciplinary and, you know, we have small cohorts. Our cohorts are typically about 5 students. Sometimes we've had 6, sometimes we've had 4. On the rare occasion we've had 8. We're sticking to around 5 students, you know. I think one year we had 3 and that was pretty low. So we're trying to take about 5 students, but our cohorts tend to be small, what that means for our department, keep in mind that our department has 2 undergraduate majors. We also have master's students that our faculty teach for. So we're quite a busy department in terms of where we teach and where the faculty kind of spend their time as far as courses. However, we do have, we've recently beefed up our PhD program by providing and introducing some new core courses that are going to be taught somewhat regularly. We have been teaching research design for a while. We have been teaching qualitative methods. Our students also take like an introductory sort of quantitative class. That's the data analysis class. We expect our students to then, of course, continue taking more methods courses after these introductory required core courses. So just kind of keep that in mind. And our students either continue to take qualitative methods or quantitative methods, depending on their inclination, typically in other departments, unless there is a course that's offered within our department that is tailored specifically for research, right? But one of the things that we help our students navigate in those first 2 years is orient them towards classes that exist outside of our department, right? That can provide them with those methods and theoretical courses, right? And so very often you'll see that we also have a new course, Theoretical Approaches to Planning and Policy. That course is intended to guide our students because many of them are coming from the professional world. And, you know, one of the challenging things for more practice-oriented students is trying to figure out, what do I do with all this theory? And how do I incorporate this into research? So we've designed a class to address that, to kind of help our students sort of make that transition from planning policy kind of questions to and connecting it to the theoretical world of the social sciences, right? And so it's an important class, so that's one of our requirements. And we expect students then to take other theoretically relevant courses, depending on their discipline, right? So for example, a lot of the students that work with me, they take sociology courses because, you know, they're raising sociological kind of questions. Others take courses in political science, and so on, right? And so we kind of guide our students so that they know what are the courses that they should be taking outside our department. I already mentioned the pro seminar. And then, of course, we asked our students to work directly with their faculty mentors, with their advisors in these independent studies. And the way that the independent studies courses typically work is that they are used very often to help the students develop their fields, essentially in preparation for the field exam. Okay, so what you'll see is that the first 2 years are coursework within the department, our core courses, and then coursework outside our department, right? And with a number of different electives. Students are required to teach at least 1 quarter. Very often our students teach more than 1 quarter, of course, because that is the main mechanism of support in our program. And then after your 2nd year, you take your comprehensive exams. And the comprehensive exams are currently are structured both in methods. So it's an advanced methods exam. So it could either be qualitative or quantitative. And then also a field exam. And that field exam you develop with your advisor and maybe another mentor. You come up with areas that you want to be competent on, the field research and literature that you want to be well read on, that you want to be an expert in, right? And so you spend a significant amount of time, right, reading a whole lot, and we craft some questions that then you answer to demonstrate the command that you have of that literature. So that is the exam, the comprehensive exams after your 2nd year. Sometimes there's some revisions involved in the beginning of your 3rd year. We really are trying to kind of minimize the amount of time students spend revising, because what we really want students to transition very quickly to in their 3rd year is to thinking about their dissertation and dissertation prospectus. So ideally, we would want our students to defend their dissertation prospectus, that is the proposal of your study, sometime in your 3rd year, no later than the beginning of your 4th year, so that you really can get going with your data collection and your analysis. And usually if our students do it within that time frame, then they're able to kind of graduate. You know, some students graduate in 5, but most of our students graduate in 6 years. And we feel pretty comfortable about the time to degree and the fact that most of our students kind of hit that mark. And of course, in between all of that time that you're developing and your research, of course, there's all the encouragement. We're going to encourage you to go to conferences, right? And to hopefully work with faculty, get on research projects, or you yourself develop your own study, so that by the time you graduate, you not only graduate with your dissertation, but hopefully a publication or 2, maybe, you know, that then positions you to be very competitive for the job market. And so we have that in mind from the day you arrive in the program. And our job and the way we think about it is that once we accept our students into the program, we're going to try to provide them with the support that they need in order to successfully navigate the program, right? To completion, and not only to completion, but in a way that makes them competitive once they get out. I think I'll stop there because there's a whole lot that I just kind of through it, you guys. Oh yeah, and so I guess with this slide, I just wanted to kind of highlight some of our students and all the wonderful things that they're doing, and our faculty as well. So if you can, you can jump into our faculty website and, just spend a little bit of time taking a look at that. And you will see that our faculty obviously are publishing in so many different fields and areas. And our students are doing really innovative work. We try to recognize our students very often. Increasingly, our students are getting recognized for their scholarship. And a lot of our students, Janine here has highlighted, for example, she's done work in labor, and because of that work, she really recently got recognized with this new Kirk Fellowship. So one of the things that we also tried to encourage our students, one of the things that we kind of quickly glanced over was the funding. And so most of our students the students who are accepted into our program are guaranteed funding. What that means is that they are funded primarily as serving as teaching assistants. So essentially the first 6 years now, right? That's now 6 years. It used to be 5. And now we have transitioned to 6 years of funding, which means that in those 6 years, you're guaranteed a TA position that allows you to pay for your fees, your tuition, and then you get your stipend, right? That comes with that. Iris can give you, maybe others can give you the exact figures if you're interested in knowing what that is. And so that's a really nice aspect of the program. Of course, we're always encouraging our students, though, to apply for fellowships. It's really nice when you have a quarter of a fellowship or a year of a fellowship where you don't have to teach, and when you can just focus on writing and advancing your research, right? So we're always trying to encourage our students, apply for this, apply for that. Make sure you guys, it's good as far as your CV and building your curriculum vitae, right? Making sure that, once you get a fellowship, it's a signal to others that you're doing good stuff. And then it kind of like, it introduces more opportunities for you, right? To even get supported. So we really push our students to apply for that. And then, of course, there's those opportunities that come up, and during the academic year, when our faculty get research grants, then they need to hire research assistants, right? And so we, of course, encourage our students to develop relationships with faculty, because that is usually when you find out about research opportunities to work with faculty members. Some faculty have, and in a given year, will have, some research opportunities. Some years they don't, but then the next year they will, right? So this all fluctuates with any given faculty depending on where they're at in their research program, right? What grants they've applied to, and so on. So yeah, you guys, you can explore the page, take a look at our faculty, our students. Let me stop there as well so that we can continue with other things.